does that mean? And we've kind of been talking about this a little bit here and there. And but I wanted to bring this conversation out and kind of share it in a couple other ways, right? So here's the thing: what is going on with Facebook? We've seen, I don't know, I was just kind of crawling the web, and I found all of these different articles on things that just some of them are directly from Facebook. Others are kind of like insights from other people as they're making as they're making changes to Facebook. I mean, it's coming from like photos to now you need different apps and you go live streaming and all. I mean, it just seems to kind of go on and on and on. And I'm really kind of interested. I'm really interested to see how this is actually going to play out for Facebook. Okay, and here's the reason why. Okay, Facebook absolutely needs to secure their position in the live stream. Okay, if they don't, they're going to become about as relevant as LinkedIn. Okay, if they don't get this right, it's going to become irrelevant for LinkedIn as LinkedIn. I mean, how many of you does anybody agree? Needs to stop with video. Just yeah, I'm not sure that it really is. I'm not sure how relevant LinkedIn, because LinkedIn just got purchased or is being purchased potentially by Microsoft, right? So we see that going on. Okay, so Microsoft is now really getting into but it's social, but it's business social, and that I think is the key, and that might be actually the reason why it's going to work. Okay, that might be the reason why it's going to work, and if that's the case, then I'm going to be really excited about it. I'll be honest. That's going to be something that's really pretty cool. Okay, so having said that, what I'm looking forward to today, I just want to kind of go over it, talk about some of these articles that I'm kind of seeing, and by the way, if you we're watching right now, we're producing this show live through, and you guys can join us over at Huzza, HUZZA.io, and then just /Jonathan Tripp. Okay, so if you guys want to join the discussion, I'd love to have you on, but I wanted to go down through and I want to talk about a couple of things. Okay. One, how many of you guys heard that Facebook is going to be deleting your photos that you put on your phone? So if you took a photo on your mobile and you use Facebook to house that photo, they're deleting it because they're going to be moving towards another app that they're going to be requiring you to use, and that's the Moments app. And I don't know how many of you guys have actually downloaded the Moments app. I really don't want to download another app related to Facebook. I don't want to do it. I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, maybe I need to dig a little bit deeper and see what's the real benefit of it. I know for me, I don't take pictures. Now, just be careful. I'm going to be really clear. It's not that it's deleting all of your old photos. It doesn't delete your old photos. It's going to take off the ones that you took specifically in Facebook. So if you were in the Facebook app and you took a photo in the Facebook, and most of us don't. Most of us take the pictures, with our camera, with our mobile camera, and then we upload them. But if you took the picture directly in the app, directly in the Facebook app, they're going to delete it unless you move and go over to the Moments app. Okay, and then you have to sync everything up like that. And that's kind of an important thing. I think it is, because that's really Facebook saying, look, I'm not going to be your cloud server unless we can control your data more. And I haven't really looked at all of what is the new Moments app, what's going to be the new requirement for that. But I'm seeing that Facebook taking another slice. I think they're actually trying to make, in some ways, I bet what's going to happen is they're going to make the main app a little bit more leaner on some ends so that they can do more on the other. And that's probably going to have to do a lot with the Facebook Live, with the streaming video and such, right? And I hope that really helps. I hope that helps make the Facebook experience better. How many of you guys would or would not, and you can put this in the chat pretty much anywhere, how many of you guys would or would not download the Moments app? Or maybe, I'm not. Unless I absolutely, I might download it just to kind of check it out, but I have no intention whatsoever of downloading that. There's no way. It's just not. It's become irrelevant to me. So, that's kind of the way that I'm seeing it. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on it too. I don't really want to download another. Yeah, exactly. That's it's supposed to be a way so you can stitch together moments. I know it's supposed to be, it's so end user, but I have a feeling that it's not really what it's all about. I think there's a little bit more to it. I think they're trying to slim down the other app to make room for it to be able to do other things without having this super huge. I think that it gives them just another place to use. Good morning to everybody, by the way, that's kind of joined us a little bit later on in the show. I'm really glad to see you guys. Let's see here. What's something else? So we've seen now they're going to require us to download the Moments app, like you said, to stitch these together. I think it's actually freeing up what's going on with using the app the way we are now. The Messenger. How many of you guys use Facebook Messenger? Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Walt. It's good to see you guys. How many of you guys use the Messenger, the mobile Messenger? And if you haven't, you're going to have to. I think that's one of the big things is that they're requiring you. Now you can't log in through your mobile browser and be able to, you can't log in through your mobile browser in order to use that messenger feature like you can on the desktop. On the desktop, you just log into your Facebook account and you can connect and you can do all these kinds of things, right? But you cannot do that with on the mobile experience. They are requiring you now to use the app. So as much as I said I don't want to download another app, this has become one of those essential apps for me. I like it because I can do phone calls through it. You can do some video stuff. You can send pictures. You can make groups for like whether it's your production team or you can make it so that it's a group for for small friends or whatever. There's just lots of variations on the ways that you can use it, and I really like it. Some people they have some problems with it though. They have some problems, whether it's through the Facebook app itself or through the Messenger. And that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to bring up is that what if I told you that Facebook is listening to your conversations? Would you believe me? Would you believe me if I said that Facebook is using your mobile through these apps to listen to your conversations so that they can do voice recognition on what your conversations are near the phone, okay? And then what are they going to do with that? They're going to send you an ad. How many of you guys would believe me if I told you that? Well, apparently, somebody else has been thinking about this too. This has been a big thing on the interwebs for quite a while now. It got to the point where Facebook actually had to come out and show, look, there's a place where you can actually disable that feature in your phone so that we can't do it. And this really all came about because, and I'm struggling for the name, as a professor in South Florida. Her name is Kelly. The name is Kelly Burns. Okay, she showed live on TV where she talked about like going on a safari and wanting to drive a new Jeep. And she said that like within like 60 seconds, ads on her phone were showing pictures about safaris and pictures about Jeeps. And so that was apparently the proof text. Well, it's not actually true. She actually, as she kind of revealed a little bit deeper, the car usage, it was not a Jeep, it was a Volvo. And it was probably because of something she had already was already driving, and it was based on search algorithms and things that she had already looked up, and so kind of it's a little contrived, And so I don't really believe it. I'll be honest with you. I don't really believe it. That was exactly what it was. Okay. And I'm kind of seeing I'm seeing some of the comments. I think you guys are kind of getting it. It really is about having better, more relevant ads. It's not about. I don't think that Facebook. I think the dangers that Facebook would get into if it was ever found out. And I mean, I really think that was the kind of thing that would be found out. So I rest assured. I really don't buy it that Facebook is actually listening in on your conversations and taking photos, because that's what hackers do. And I really don't see Facebook doing that. I see them, if you allow them to find the searches and things like this and be able to drive ads to you that way, then yes, but that's totally different. That's not the same thing. What are some other issues, some other things that I was seeing with Facebook come up? Okay, and this is not a Facebook ads show. We're not going to be just talking about Facebook ads and those kinds of things. I think there are a couple really cool things that are happening with Facebook. One of which is the live stream. I think that's that's kind of an important thing. Live streaming using Facebook is good. I think it's needed. I'd like to see them change a couple of things in there. One of which is this, right? And I'm trying to pull the article up on my end. It is the in chat. It's the in stream chat. Okay. That is now changing. They're making it so that you can actually post videos in stream. And I actually want to play around with this a little bit later on today, because I actually just read the article, I think last night. I've been hearing rumors about it, but I think it's actually live now. And if you guys know about it, let me know. Post it out. I think it's a really cool thing that what they're doing. And, I really do. I think it's a really cool thing. It's finally something that is a useful feature. And I want to actually be able to use this. I want to be able to play around with this, because it's a really it's a very versatile tool. Because now the big struggle is that when you do live stream, you want the in real time action. You want the interaction, and you want to be able to respond back. Because if I see a comment that's 15, 30 seconds old, chances are, I mean, if I'm doing like a quick news story like this, I'm going to be moving on. And 30 seconds ago is a totally different topic. And so by adding in a chat feature that's hopefully pretty real time, I wouldn't mind 1, 2, 3 seconds maybe. You start getting longer than that, it starts to feel a little draggy. After 7, you're just like, I'm all done. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. So one of the big things that I see is that as Facebook is adding this, the other component would be to add somebody else to talk in, much like a conferencing call. And I also heard rumors and read articles and stuff like that about that happening too. So I think it's going to be really important as we go forward to pay attention to what Facebook is doing with their live stream. Okay, it's going to be one of those things that's going to set that platform apart from the other platforms. Okay. And again, we haven't talked about advertisement or Facebook group management or anything like that. That's a totally different show. But I do want to talk about one of the things about how important is it to use live streaming in just whether it's you have a show or you want to do a one-off broadcast to reach maybe you're going to maybe host an event or something like this. And here's the reason why I bring it up. How many of you guys have heard Adele? And I don't know exactly the date, but it's been fairly recently, where Adele, the singer, she called somebody out for live streaming her concert. Has anybody read this article or watched the video? And oddly enough, it was a Twitter video where they were recording her telling somebody else not to record. And I thought that was actually kind of ironic. Right. But some of the argument on the one side is, well, these attendees, they pay hundreds of dollars. Shouldn't they be able to come in and maybe record a moment or something like that of, I was here, I got to experience this. What do you guys think? I mean, don't you think that that's kind of a That's kind of an important part. And by the way, welcome to everybody that's joining us, both on wherever you guys are joining us, whether it's on YouTube or in Blab, or if you guys are live in Hozza. If you guys want to be able to chat pretty much live with me, come on over to Hozza, HUZZA.io, and then just / Jonathan Tripp. I'll get my act together tomorrow, and I'll have a link to be able to put in. But thank you for those of you guys that are trying to help me manage some of the Blab comments as well from the other chat rooms. So one of the things that I really I want to encourage people. Okay, I want to encourage people to be thinking of is in terms of, well, what are they doing? How are you using live stream? Now, again, kind of getting back, Adele called them out and said, look, I know you're recording, but could you please stop because you're here live? She says it's actually a better live show than it is a recorded on your phone. So you paid to be here, so be here. Okay. And some of the issue really is where we get a little bit into the copyright, and we've done some past shows about doing copyright and things like that. Do you have the right to rebroadcast that music or that? And I would say in a concert setting, no, you don't. Okay, because you don't own that material. Now, if you're walking down the street and you're doing a live stream event, or if you're out in a public place doing that, then I think that you have a lot less barriers. Although, believe me, everybody, I think, who was it? A lawyer was telling me, he said law is almost always 10 years behind the technology, which I think is hilarious. But at the same time, though, we have to really understand, I think there's some certain principles, and it really is about respect. Respect other people when you're live stream broadcasting, okay? The second thing is don't take other people's stuff. So if you're in Adele's concert, and you're trying to record on your cell phone, you're taking her content and you're putting it where she has no control of, and it's her music, and you paid to be there. Otherwise, you could have just walked in free, and then it would have probably just been open air or whatever. That's not what it's talking about. But see, at the same time though, and she's pretty outspoken. I mean, I think if you guys just look over if you go over to Facebook and just look in your trends, I'm sure something, if it's not the where she's calling out the video person, it's where she's responding to some other comments. She just seems to be getting a lot of traction right now. And I think it's because she's a big, she's just a big name she really has no fear for a lot of stuff. So I think it's kind of funny that way, and so I really hope to be able to just kind of read it and just see where this type of thing's going. This whole online music stealing, and now particularly with the advent of live streaming data, it's so much easier to steal people's stuff. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are following, like Napster back in the day, and Metallica just losing their minds, and the band members just losing their minds. We're like, look, we work hard to produce this content. We don't want people to steal it with Napster. Now the same thing's happening with live streaming, where we have to be really careful. And I think as a broadcaster, that person that's filming the whatever, I think you need to exercise a good amount of caution and a good amount of judgment in doing that. But how does that relate to our business? I think the same thing needs to be added to that same kind of common sense and perspective. Needs to be added to when you're broadcasting, even as your business. And I think it's really going to be important going forward. Have a purpose. Make sure that you own the content that you're producing. One of the things, now I'm talking a little bit about news, and this is stuff that other people have done, but I want to caution people. If you're going to live stream, don't go to somebody else's blog article, have it up on your screen, or have the notes in front of you with your live camera, and start talking. Oh, here are the 7 things that you need to do to get your website going. And then you read their content and you pretend like it's yours. Guys, that's stealing. That's stealing. Don't do that. But it's really tempting when you're trying to come up with a broadcast. Jenny, it's less important of the who did it at this point as much as, guys, learn from that lesson. I have seen it. I've seen it where other people do take. Now, it's one thing if, some actually did do that. I've seen it and I called them on it. But the other side is this, is that if you're going to do something similar to that, that means that you can go to somebody's website, you can go to a news outlet, and you can talk about like, oh, like what I just did, okay? These are news headlines. This is not like somebody sat there. I'm not sitting there reading the article. I'm not sitting there saying that like, well, I discovered that Adele did this. I didn't discover that Facebook is going to be deleting your synced photos. I didn't do those things. It is actually called plagiarism, right? And so just be really careful, okay? And J-Boy, that's another really good comment, and I'm going to try to switch back and catch. That's another really big thing that you can get yourself in trouble with. It depending on the level and how you present it, but you can get yourself in trouble on YouTube as well if you try to upload the video to YouTube. How weird is that? So I want to include people in that kind of that conversation. And I think the reason why I bring it up as far as like the Facebook takeover is because Facebook, just in the same way the Periscope is, you can do it right from the app. You can do right in from your mobile. You can do it from your iPad. You can now do Facebook Live from your camera on your computer. You can do all of these things. They're making it so easy. And I don't want to say it like this, but they're making it really easy to break the law. They're making it really easy to do unethical things and to distribute it widely. And I'm going to tell you right now, in very much the same way that when the internet started out, it was very easy just to copy and paste and to get away with it. We have to make sure that what we're doing for the short and the long run sets us apart. So do better work, do your homework. If you can't come up with so much content, then don't come up with so much content. Reduce the amount of content that you do, that you produce, and that you talk about so that it's a higher quality. And I think in the long run, you're going to be much happier. You're going to get much better results. So anyway, I wanted to talk about those kinds of things. And then as it's kind of now relating back into Facebook, I did want to kind of open this up to a little bit more discussion of, guys, how are you using Facebook? How are you using particularly the Facebook Live side? How are you integrating some of the live video with your groups or your fan pages? Are you doing it on your personal profile? I'd love to hear how you guys as audience members are actually using Facebook, and what kind of results are you getting? Because see, this is what you're not going to see in an article. Or another blog post somewhere. They're going to talk about something that happened a week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. What you're getting right now is literally what happened within the last, this last weekend, the last couple of days. And that's one of the benefits of having this kind of a show. And so I do want to say thank you to everybody, by the way. If you guys are watching, I really want to say thank you. You guys are really awesome. I appreciate it. And for what it's worth, you guys actually make this really great. And so I would ask if that's something you guys know. I love building community. And this is the one I wanted to bring up. If you guys want or haven't yet joined our Facebook group, you can go over there. The Facebook group name is really, the address is really long. So I just made a short link. It's group.jonathantripp.com. And that will just take you, it's a redirect link just to get you right over there, because otherwise it's some really long URL. And a lot of people, where I was finding is that they thought they were in the Blab Nation group, our Facebook group for this show, and they were actually in another one that looked very similar, had a similar name. So by being able to do that, it kind of helps with that. So I appreciate you guys' support with that. So as far as using Facebook, what do you guys think? Is anybody else using Facebook Live? Are you doing that? Are you using the live? Are you embedding it somewhere? Are you taking something that you do that you maybe videotape, and not in a like you videotape it, edit it, and then put it up, but I mean using the live app? How many of you guys are actually using the live app as part of your content on a fairly regular basis? I'd say at least once a week. I did, Cindy, use live, but I haven't embedded it anywhere. Okay. And it may be that may or not be a good idea for you. It depends on what your content is, I guess, right? How active, how accessible the video is. I'd really like to hear what you guys. Okay, so Alex, I see you're only for family and friends, have not used it for your business setting yet. And by the way, thanks for everybody that's watching us both live, and whether you're watching it on YouTube or Blab or watching us live in Hosa, that's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, Cindy, you're getting testimonials. I'm just making sure if they're testimonials that they're super okay with you posting it other places. It just kind of gets on and on. Perfect, Cindy. See, isn't it so much better when you get their permission first rather than doing it and then finding out later? And so Dave, the cancer coach, he did Facebook Live to the business community last week and another one this afternoon. That's a really great way. And Dave, what I really like about a lot of the things that you're doing is that you're using Facebook Live, you're not using it as a webinar to sell people more. You're using it as a community tool to draw them in, to give them an access channel for maybe a conversation that they wouldn't be able to be a part of. And that was one of the reasons why actually I had chosen this platform, is because we have the live feature. We can bring some people in, and it has a live chat feel. The recording allows me maybe to be able to send it out afterwards. But I think it's a really great and kind of a fun place to be. So, but using several different platforms to kind of try to help bring together a community, because I mean, how many we got, like 17 people watching us live, or out of 40 or something like that, another 25. So I don't know, we probably have 50, 60 people watching us live right now, which is kind of fun, I gotta say. And I just want to make sure that that the message is getting received by you guys. Jenny, I see your comment. You're planning to use Facebook Live tomorrow to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of your Facebook community. That's pretty cool. So that is see, that now you're reaching, and you have a pretty dedicated, active community. I mean, obviously, just like mine, everybody, they choose their level of participation. But you're utilizing it now, Jenny. And somebody had pointed this out in some comments, and I've kind of known this for a while, that I do event notifications. I do events within the Facebook group, and I do that to tell people about shows or upcoming shows. And I've done it a couple of different ways to see how people are using it, reacting. And what I'm finding is that and I'm not quite sure what the cause for it was, but we went from having a large number of invites that went out to about 100, give or take, and it's slowly starting to creep up as new members are being added, and such like that. But I guess my point really is that it only works when you have when you have your notifications turned on, and that's okay. Not everybody has, and not everybody wants another notification for their lives. Zeph, I don't believe I am. I don't think I have it turned on right now for Facebook Live. But I do have this on YouTube, and then I'm sharing this out a couple places with YouTube. There's a couple of reasons for that, because one, I really like YouTube. I think it's a really great platform, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing for the rest of this year with it. So, let's see here. Oh, okay, see, I was just watching over in some of the other comments here. Steve, over there, thank you for telling me that. Watching half screen as opposed to a whole screen. I'm not sure exactly how I would be able to take that. And by the way, I don't take offense to that at all. I take that as a wonderful comment on this. And that's actually, Stephen, you bring up, and this was the chat in Blab, one of the things I really do see is that as we're kind of going through these, we're going to find out how the different platforms actually look better or feel better in the presentation. And some of it, if you guys are watching this outside of Hosa, this is done through a broadcast software. Okay, this is not live directly into YouTube. I actually produce the show on my end and then send it out. So this way, for you guys, you're going to be able to see. Here's we've talked about a mailing list, a Facebook group. You guys know you can find me on YouTube. Here's another one. You guys, if I use Patreon, and one of the reasons why I use Huza is because of the Patreon integration. This allows me to reach out directly to our Patreon supporters. And by the way, that is actually a really big, huge thank you to all of everybody that has been supporting me on, and I really appreciate it. I've seen a number of you guys kind of step up and help out with even like $1, $5 in a month. And that's something that's really cool, and that's allows me to do and maybe be able to go out and find some other interviews and or how-tos and be able to put together some videos, but it just for Patreon users. And I think that's going to be really cool in the long run. So I really appreciate everybody that's been doing that and making that part of what we do. So kudos to you guys. And we're going to, this week is I'm going to be working on Patreon. I'm going to be uploading a couple videos, we're going to be adjusting some of the perks and things like this because I've been listening to what you guys have been saying. And then we're going to be broadcasting out. We're going to be talking about this. I actually do want us to do some Facebook Live exclusive stuff. I want to be doing just throughout the week. We have several, 2 or 3. I've got Art Jones coming up this week. I've got an SEO checkup tomorrow, and you guys do not want to miss this guest. And I will announce the guest a little bit later. And then Rachel Moore with Really Social. She actually does quite a bit of work with. She has a Twitter chat. Let's live stream, and I'm really exciting. I'm really excited to see how this is going to show up this week. How let's choose to interact with with our community, sharing it out, being able to talk about it, and so I really like that aspect of it. So could be a Patreon could be in my shop. Oh, and you know what, Jenny, I still have not done my shop. That is an honest. There's no excuses. I just haven't done that. Right. I get the finger wagging. That's okay. I'll put up the air quotes, and that counteracts everything, and that makes everything great. So anyway, I do want to, let's see. We've been, we've had a nice show today. We talked about Facebook Live. I want to answer some of your questions, or even bring on somebody if you're live in Huza. I want to bring on somebody if you guys want to, and to ask a question, or if there's a point you want to talk about specifically with Facebook and how you see Facebook kind of growing their numbers, extending their reach, or maybe just in the way that they're doing it. It may be some of your experience in keep it positive. I think there's a lot to be. Carlos Gill, how many of you guys know Carlos Gill? And I don't mean to put him on the spot. I know he's not here. He actually he had put a post up regarding the tragedy that happened in the United States this past weekend in Orlando. Any way you cut it, any way you slice it, doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum, the religious, or whatever, it is a tragedy when something like that happens. And Carlos put up a rather short, and meaning not verbose, not this long, but really directly to the point, post on his Facebook. It was his personal Facebook wall, and he's a very outspoken person in general, but when he put this out there, he got a lot of different variety of comments, and I mean, we're talking like over 50 other comments, and some of them are a little bit back and forth. Some people are really cutting, others were just very vanilla in their comment, and so it's just, where they weren't necessarily showing support or from one side or the other in terms of what all the controversy is. And this is not a controversy discussion. What I'm showing is that with Carlos, what he ended up doing is that almost like the next or the other profile comment that he had put up on his Facebook was he's seriously going to think about not posting anything political anything political on Facebook anymore, because that he says it's just he just wished that people were able to to figure out how to get along with each other, how to respect each other regardless of, and he listed all the different categories. And I just thought it was a really interesting thing that somebody as outspoken as Carlos really felt even just taken aback by that. And so I'm really kind of interested to see, kind of going forward, how are you guys experiencing that same kind of a polarization? I know it's a political year here in the U.S., and that just automatically puts it up. And I've really done my best to make sure that I don't feel like posting political stuff on social media at all. I personally, I don't think I'm not out. I don't think that my posting one thing is going to change anybody's point of view. I just have a feeling that that's not the way to use social media in that regard. Yeah, we really appreciate that, right? Now, what you will get is the mugshot. Okay, that is the mugshot. That is something you guys are going to see, and I really hope. Oh, Cindy, there you go. How about this? Here's the other side of that mug. Oh, hold on, I have to turn it like this. This is a gift. This is a gift. We actually have a matching set, and I love it. It's one of my favorite mugs, and you guys know I love coffee and things like that. So, but anyway, I wanted to put that up there. Yeah, thank you, Barb. I appreciate it. I was actually watching your other comment in Blab as well. But so anyway, you guys know that I don't always think like it's okay to have statements. It's okay to put out things that are personal, but it's not okay to the point where you're pushing other people so far down that we actually can't have a conversation, which to me would defeat, at least within this show, in this show format, to get rid of everything. And Jenny, thank you for the reminder of the Q&A tab here in Huzzah. It is a little different. I'm used to seeing them automatically pop up. Let's see here. I'm kind of trying to read through it. Stephen Q. So what is the law text for content that is not licensed? Color me confused. Okay, so he puts that up there. What is the law text? I have to say this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney, and I don't play one on TV or any of that kind of funny stuff. What I do find then, that as far as content, if you produce it, you have a right. If you create it, so if you write a blog post, you have the right to distribute that. Now, if I wrote it and then you came over to my website or to my YouTube channel and you took my video or my blog post and you took that down and you copied it over or used the material in it, that's a plagiarism issue. And I know, Stephen, I know you personally don't, this is not an ethical question of, should I do this or not? And there's a lot of nuance, and there's a bunch of people that are really, really smart in this. And I would really caution you in terms of being very careful you don't use other people's ideas as your own. If anything, you could quote them, say, hey, so-and-so said this about this topic. And those kinds of things. And I think that's usually a very good practice, as long as you're making sure that, one, you're not taking it out of context, because that could be considered slander. You don't want to steal the idea and make it sound like it's yours, unless you actually came up with the idea, because otherwise that's stealing. Don't take, one of my big rules, don't take other people's stuff. That's plagiarism. Don't do that. All right. So I think I think most of the things that we encounter within those contexts make your Facebook post way more relevant. Okay, if you're coming up with original content and producing it and publicizing it and taking the time to actually produce a good content, people are going to like it a lot more. David Vaughn asks, what does Facebook and or Facebook Live building their numbers with building your business and serve your community? Dave, that's a really, I like that question. And I'll read it one more time. What does Facebook and or Facebook Live building their numbers with building your business and serving your community? So this is going to be kind of my take on it, right? I see that growing the reach of your broadcast and content by using a tool such as Facebook and Facebook Live specifically, I think it gives you a better chance at finding and connecting with the people that actually want to consume your content. Because I think now going forward, we need to start thinking about social media platforms. If you're using it in a content sort of way, a content production sort of way, you need to start thinking of social media in general in a different fashion. Okay, so if you have a business, this is for you. Stop thinking of it as a social platform and start using it, if you're going to be using it this way, start using social media as a way of a content platform. This is where you can put your content. That's what your business page is about. That is different than what your personal profile is about. Personal profile, personal stuff. Fan page, that's where you can put your content. And then you can start to engage on there. And here's the reason why, okay? Facebook is more and more and more and more and more and more going to a pay to play. So if you're going to try to use your fan page as a place to connect socially, I think you're going to end up spinning your wheels. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have a personal conversation there. I think that's what your personal profile is about. That is totally different. Defined socially. I mean, socially is in like, well, when, before this is before we all had our fan pages, we all had our business and things. We signed up for Facebook. So, David, I'm going to kind of try to get into this, okay? And I'm going to try to also see both sides of the chat, okay? When we signed up for Facebook and we had our personal profile, that was where I posted pictures of my kids, my mug shot, what I was doing in the garden that weekend. What I wasn't doing was going, hey guys, at 10 o'clock today, I've got a show. It's about business, or this is this coach is coming on. This is this thing. I wasn't selling anything on my personal profile. I was just telling you, this is me. This is what I'm doing. This is the things that I like. And I use it as a way to connect with high school, childhood friends, people that I know in the community. That's how I mean socially. When it comes to the business side of it, that's what your fan page is for. So you're not going to see me putting a, hey, buy my t-shirt, or, come by my webinar. You're not going to see that on my personal profile, unless it's something that's interacting with me as a person, but it's going to be shared from another page. So that's what I mean. You need to use the Facebook platform the way that it's intended. And I'm trying to think of a more intricate way of saying it, but I don't think there really is. Use your fan page to produce your content. That's where you're going to put it. Now you can talk about it from there, and you're going to use your personal profile to do it. Okay? That's why we don't have storefronts at our home. That's kind of that is what you're doing. Okay, very good, Nazim. I'm glad to see. Okay. And so anyway, oh, by the way, this is kind of like a short little commercial break. Thank you guys that's joining us on Blab or wherever. Hopefully you guys are you guys getting sound over there? I forgot to ask, but because it's a YouTube drop in, I think you guys should be getting sound. Such like that. Yes, there is sound. Good, because that was overcoming the problem. Just so you guys know, there was a little bit of problem. Some people's computers were having a really hard time watching us live on Huza. They were having a really hard time. Their computer just couldn't handle it for whatever the reason. And so by me broadcasting now to YouTube, and I can drop that link in, or you can watch us on YouTube. You can get the same experience. By the way, that would be a great thing. Maybe that's what I should put up. Thanks, guys, for the reminder. I want to make sure, subscribe to our YouTube page. You'll be able to watch those and we're going to start now producing a lot more content for YouTube as well. But I was trying to rack my brain this weekend of trying to find a way to help those that wanted to watch the show but couldn't get on Huza because maybe their computer was just freaking out, or it just wasn't, for whatever the tech barrier was. This is a solution for that, and I really hope that it works for you guys. So thanks, Alex, and so that's also for you, Kate. I saw your comments and I wanted to try to help out with that. So thanks, guys, for supporting us that way. Let's see here. I know there's a little bit of a delay for the YouTube watchers, viewers. That's just the way that is, but it actually kind of gives me a couple of chances to get back over. And thanks for everybody that's joining us here. Let me see. I have a show for tomorrow all set and ready. Your lower third is working on the YouTube live. Excellent. I'm glad to see that. And I know if you're watching us live on YouTube, it kind of seems a little redundant, but as it kind of goes out and I put the video in other places, it'll make sense. Can you pop out the chat window in Who's It? Yes, I can. but it's so delayed that in it shrinks and does everything Alex, so that it actually makes it. I decided to keep it hidden for the rebroadcast or for sending out, but yes, you can. And for me, this actually makes it a little bit easier to be able to send that out. So, does anybody else have any questions? Because I'm going to be thinking, let's see, what's tomorrow's show? I want to make sure I get into tomorrow's show as well. Let's see. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. I put it in the Facebook group. Tomorrow's show is in the Facebook. The Facebook group is so individual. Gotcha. How many of you guys are all in the Facebook group? Are there some other housekeeping things we gotta pay attention to? I just want to make sure. I'm gonna pull out the link for tomorrow's show. Where is your missing website? That's our show for tomorrow. Okay. I'm gonna actually drop it in the in Blab. That's our show for tomorrow. You guys, if you haven't already, you can sign up actually to get the notifications, and you'll get to know what the next show is. What does that mean? Is your website being found, Jenny? Is your website being found? Is it just being found in the homepage? And I want to talk with our guest tomorrow about that, and I hope that comes out to be a kind of a cool thing. It'll be a good guess. And Ryan Perez, he's going to be my guest tomorrow. More SEO convo. I hope it not quite the way the other way was. This is more of how are we structuring? What are we doing on our pages to make sure that they're found? So if you're doing a blog article, what are some actual tangible things? That's kind of what I want to get into tomorrow. No, it's not. That's why I need SEO. Yeah, I try not to repeat topics, but if we have a really good, so our conversation last week with Daniel was about some really just overall great ideas and the importance of SEO. I wanted to get down a little bit more into some more nitty gritty, some actual action steps to take. So I thought that was the value for tomorrow's show. Barb, thank you for kind of bringing this up. When you guys are in the Facebook group, if you want to actually get the notifications, you need to go up into the group, okay? Up in the header where it says notifications. You actually need to click on that, because otherwise Facebook will decide for you how much of Blab Nation or how many events notifications you're going to get. Okay, that's one of the things that I want you guys to, if you would, that would help me out, as well as when we send out the invitations. And again, I only send out invitations for actually just the shows. I don't send out invitations for, frivolous things. The only events that I set up are actually for the show. Even if we do an extra show, I don't set up a separate event for that. That would be on my fan page, because that's totally different. That's a different thing. So I appreciate that with you guys getting to know that. All right. Do you guys have any other questions today? I mean, I'm more than willing to bring some people on and have some of the conversation. Otherwise, I'm going to turn off should I turn off the rebroadcast? This is brand new. We haven't actually gone through all this. But I want to make sure that today's show is super relevant. It's right to the point, and you guys are getting just the info that you guys want for the time that you're spending. So I really appreciate everybody that's been watching us here. If you have questions, or if you've got a show idea, please reach out. Or if you have a guest idea, absolutely let me know. I am up for suggestions all the time, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to be able to talk to our guests this week and be able to connect with you guys. So, hold on. I'm seeing more Q&As. How many people can fit into Huzza? Cindy, you can fit up to 6. It changes the dynamic. So instead of it being a full screen, you really do catch just about a head width. It's just enough so you can see people's faces if they kind of sit in the camera. And David says, so you suggest on your fan page, on your Facebook fan page, is to only use it to post and not engage. Okay, so I don't know how old that comment was. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to use it primarily, your fan page primarily, as a content platform. so that you put your content on that platform. Don't think of it as it's not a sales cart, okay? It's not a it's not a tweeting platform. At least we're talking specifically about Facebook. Don't use it as this is not, oh, you're tweeting me, oh, I'm having my coffee now. You're giving me, you don't want to be putting 20, 30, 40, 50 links in there in a day. That's not what it's for. You can have long tail conversations, but make sure that the content is super relevant. So, did I miss a question? I'm trying to make sure. Well, David, that's a good point. Who knows if they're going to be relevant in a month? Then one, that means that you're just using your you're using your platform to promote that different types of content, whether it's going to be a blog article, an infographic, a live video. Oh no, Jonathan, that was not for you. Okay, I was like, I'm not quite understanding. Okay, so then that's that. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I'm kind of scrolling up. I'm not seeing any others. Here, let me switch over to Blab, see if you guys are. Oh, Chuck, I saw your comment, your question. So Facebook Live thing only works from cell phones. No, it does not. You can do it from your cell phone with a rebroadcast software and things like this. You can actually do a whole bunch of other things, but you can use your webcam and to do things like that, be able to post. So. All right. Oh, Jenny asked for training about training for Whoza. Did I get that right, Cindy? Did I see that? On how to use Whoza? Is that what she's asking, or as a host? Oh, people are asking how to host on Whoza. Generally speaking, we could absolutely do one. We could do a one-off training on that. That would be a good show title. I could do that. That's what my videos comments are about. Okay, now I'm getting it. Oh, so he's doing videos. Okay. You can do it live. Or we can talk about it live. We may actually even have a show spot later on this week. I haven't heard back from with your green screen. We could. We do a lot of different stuff. That's one of the reasons why I purchased this, is to be able to actually use it as a tool. This wasn't just because I like the color green. It's a tool. I want to coach, not teach. Whoza? Yeah, well, Jenny, I think that's a good mindset to have, because it's helping people find their voice and find how they can use a platform like this. Jenny, your shows, your broadcasts on Whoza are going to be different than mine. There are musicians on here. There are artists on here. It's not you have to get on, you have to sit in the camera and have to look at it, and you have to do the X, Y, Z. I mean, there are better best practices, but it doesn't mean you can't do those other things. So, all right. So I'm kind of checking back and forth. Jonathan Bruce, can you check your YouTube live chat, please? You know what? I actually haven't. There we go. What is the Jonathan on YouTube asks? It says, what is the main platform that you're streaming to now? Whoza. HUZZA.io, and then my particular channel is /Jonathan Tripp. And let me see if I can just quick grab that. What's the best way to grab that? Yeah, because this is one of those things. So it's HUZZA.io /Jonathan Tripp. That's the best place to catch me. I hope that was timely enough. I'm still kind of learning where to look actually for some of these platforms. So, hi Melissa. I missed the orange. David, I'll bring back the orange for you if you want. We can bring back the orange a little bit later on today. All right, so with that, I think I'm going to sum the show up overall. I hope you guys really. I hope today's show. Today was the first time we were on Blab with sound. I've been trying to figure out how to do it. We finally did. So that means that the YouTube Live channel is available, and you can find me the easiest way. It's with the youtube.jonathantripp.com. I appreciate all of your support, and that you guys are starting to come through on the Patreon. And for those of you guys that have really just kind of stepped up and financially helped, I really appreciate it. And I'm looking for ways that I can help you, or what you find is a benefit. What would be something that you guys want as a perk, something that maybe that I can help with? Let me know. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, you are welcome to join our Facebook group. And this is the way you do it, at group.jonathantripp.com. Again, that'll take you right directly to our Facebook group, and you can participate and be a part of the community that way. So, all right, Nazim, thank you guys. I appreciate it, and everything like this. So you guys are awesome. I'm actually just I'm gonna stop our live broadcast on the other platforms, but don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be we'll be here at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And you can find us wherever you're watching now. We're gonna be back tomorrow, and we're gonna be talking about, where's your website? Is your website missing? And so that's going to be our topic for tomorrow. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm glad to see you guys. Take care. We'll see you.